Hello, 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 and welcome to day 12 of 12 Days of Bizmas. We are in the final day of recording and listening for you. And it's so funny because I waffled on what to record for this day. I had different ideas that I had and I erased, and I just kept going back and forth on what was good enough, basically, for me to talk about for day 12 to wrap up this whole series. And then I was sitting there last night thinking about the series, thinking about all the topics that we've gone over, and it hit me that I actually haven't put an episode out that is about my industry, that is about content repurposing. And what better way to close a 12-day series than to talk about the thing that I talk about the most? So let's get into the topic of content repurposing and where it is going in 2025. I see a lot of entrepreneurs lately talking about how they will only use AI for repurposing their content, and they don't want to use it for original content and all of that jazz because there is copyright issues that people have been running into, and I'm sure we'll just continue to see more and more as the new year is upon us. And I can understand where these people are coming from. You know that I will say content repurposing is new content. It is not copy pasting. And I understand in that sense that you can give it to AI and ask it to flip it. But I also want you to be careful because you can still run into the same problem, whether it's your content you're feeding it or you're asking it to come up with ideas for you, that it can still cause issues with copyright. I also think that we all have seen, I don't know if you're on Threads, but we've all seen that AI has a certain way of writing. Even when you finesse it to the bone to speak like you can just tell there's little signs, and it loses your brand voice just enough that it will affect your content, or at least it will, in my opinion. And so going into 2025, I do think that content repurposing is going to become bigger and bigger. I think that we're going to see a period where a lot of people use AI to repurpose their content, and then they come back to hiring experts to help them because they realize that AI can't do it the same way that a trained marketer can or a trained content creator can. That being said, I do think repurposing is only going to get bigger in 2025 because I think people are going to continue to move away from Instagram, which I mentioned in yesterday's 2025 predictions. And whether they move to Substack or email or blogs or LinkedIn, these are all platforms that require a bit more long form writing, a little bit more finessing as well in the writing than Instagram may have asked for in the past. And so I think we're going to see the effect of that with repurposing and with the content people are choosing to repurpose. Another thing to note is if you're going to be starting on a new platform and you want to be taking your old content, it's very possible you need to bring your content to 2025 in the sense of updating your messaging, changing the offer you were talking about, updating the stories included. And so I do think that repurposing is going to get bigger because of the platforms are changing, but also because of the desire to have more long form content, more SEO friendly content, more content that keeps your business going in the long term versus always jumping on and off the hamster wheel. And so I want to share with you a little bit about my agency, a little bit about our journey and how you can work with us in 2025 to wrap this up. We have been in business since 2020. I myself started as a freelancer in 2019, but the agency was conceived around between March and June 2020. I actually built this agency as a necessity because I was getting so much demand for content writing. And it has gone through so many iterations. I originally called it a content agency, and we did offer like email marketing, email sequences, sales pages, landing pages, all that jazz. And eventually I boiled it down to just content repurposing. And while we do still help with email sequences, I don't offer sales pages and landing pages as I just feel like copywriting is its own industry apart from content writing, and I'm not comfortable advertising myself as a copywriter. We now have 2 offers and 1 lead magnet as of this recording. I don't know when you're listening to this, it might have changed because I do have some big plans to expand and shift in 2025, maybe more Q2 than Q1. But as of right now, we have 2 offers in the lead magnet. Our lead magnet is a private podcast. I will link it in the show notes. It is called Turn 1 into 10, and it is a 5-day series that will help you turn any piece of content into 10 posts. It's basically the roadmap to DIY your content repurposing strategy if you don't want to pay me. So if you are listening to this and you're like, yeah, content repurposing, that's on my plan for 2025, head to the show notes, download that private podcast. You can binge listen it in one day. I think each episode is like 5 minutes long. So in half an hour, you could get through the whole thing and put a plan in place to start repurposing your content. I give visuals. It is a private podcast, but it's on YouTube. So there's visuals and there's examples. And I just wanted to give you everything possible for you to be able to start repurposing on your own. Our next option is the remix. The remix is a done with you service in that you send us 10 links to your existing content and we send you 100 custom content ideas. So we are sending you an Airtable base that provides you with a hook and then 2 to 3 prompts on what to write about, as well as what type of content we think it should be. You'll tell us what platforms you want to be on, and then we will create like, this is for a carousel, this is for a reel, this is for a YouTube video, this is for a podcast episode. And then we also include the intention. This piece of content is made to sell. This piece of content is made to generate leads. This content is made to nurture or educate. And then we hand it back to you and you get to go and create all that content so that you can show up on all the platforms you want to without having to constantly come up with new content ideas. All of these ideas are essentially your own because they're pulled from content that you made already, but we've used different angles to twist what you've said into completely new content so that your audience can still get the message, but be hit from a different point and be ready to buy that much faster. And of course, our final offer that I've teased throughout this series is Repurposing Unlimited, the offer that provides you with unlimited repurposed content. I am so proud of this offer. I'm honestly in the middle of writing the emails to sell this offer, and it's so fun for me to hit all the different angles and talk about this offer and see the interest come in because I don't know who's going to book, and I'm so excited to see who these spots go to because it's going to be so fun to test, to get to run, and then lock it in as our signature retainer. So the way that Repurposing Unlimited works is you tell us what content you want each month. You can choose up to 3 types of content. Then for the first 3 weeks of the month, we will deliver a content bank. Week 1 could be blog posts. Week 2 could be emails. Week 3 could be videos. And then the last week of the month, you can ask for any and all revisions possible so that you or we can get to posting your content. Yes, we are now offering content scheduling as I wanted to make sure that we had no barriers in the way of helping our clients get their content out there. Now, all of these offers, the private podcast, the remix, and Repurposing Unlimited will be in the show notes, along with a link to our website so that you can just check us out and get to know us more. If you have any questions about content repurposing, about the future of content repurposing, about how you can better repurpose your content, my DMs are always open at FeliDay on Instagram or info@feliday.com for emails. And I'm so excited to see what's coming and where the world of content is going in 2025. I do really think that exciting things are about to happen. I do think AI is going to have its moment, but I think it's going to find its place. And that is not content creation. It is more the admin assistant and the planning aspect of entrepreneurship that I see AI settling into. We'll see. Maybe next year I'll do a recap of this year's 12 Days of Bizmas and see how right or wrong some of the things I said were. So thank you for listening to all 12 days of this series. It's meant so much to me to have you along for the ride. I've already gotten so much feedback. I am recording this on the 11th to come out on the 12th. So yes, I have gotten so much feedback. I actually had one person say that I should do this behind a paywall next year. I won't, but just know that people are loving it and it's not just me talking to myself. But I am going to wrap this up here. I will see all you lovelies in the new year when the Unprofessional Entrepreneur comes back for season 4. I'm thinking a mid-January, early February launch. I need to see how that week between Christmas and New Year's goes, because maybe I'll record a bunch of podcasts and maybe I will be wrapped up in re-recording the private podcast. I have not decided. I have a lot on my list for that week and I don't know what I'm actually going to end up doing in the end. But that's where I'm going to leave you all. I will see you all in the new year in 2025. And as always, don't forget to stay unprofessional and have a very unprofessional Christmas.